Are you kidding me?
After all that.
My car just lifted off in outer space.
Yep.
It is
Does
what
that
it is,
once
man.
every 100 laps.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It is what it
It's
is. Honestly, this might work in our favor with fuel.
Just tell me what I should do. You guys are the strategists here.
Wait as long
Keep
as you
going
can.
for now.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've got clear air ahead, so.
Sorry. I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, it clips the ground in Radian, which is like the fast setup was doing that every lap. This it doesn't, but from time to time it will. And then ACC collision physics, it just bounces the whole car off because it sees this as a solid object.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had no contact with the front wheels, so it just went straight. And then you somehow gained time on that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, I took my foot off the gas when I was pointed at the moon.
I know. And I still saw the delta go up.
Yeah, definitely run 2 more laps.
Man, that's gutting.
Just don't get another one.
So is it each track up from now on it's another drive-through, or is there...
No, it restarts.
No,
to
you
full.
get another 3. Although something I found out only about a month ago is that you still get warnings when you have a drive-through to solve.
That makes sense.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so you can't abuse it the next 3 laps.
You can, which was very stupid to me, but
Yeah.
yeah. Finally saw someone get a warning whilst they had a drive-through share.
What is your stint timer right now, out of curiosity?
1650. I've elapsed 1650.
Okay. So
Yeah.
48 minutes left.
It's not gonna quite be enough.
Nope.
We needed like 6 minutes. Maybe not even 6, closer to 5 minutes. It definitely means I'm only doing a drive-through now. There's no way I'll have to pit the fuel.
Well, like I say, you can, well, yeah, depends how much you actually burn.
Box this lap or next lap?
Next.
Next lap.
Okay.
Just know that your tires will be stone cold when you come out of the pit, so you have to take it easy on the out lap.
Okay.
Don't take too much curb on your out lap or anything. You'll grade the tires out. You know.
Copy, okay.
Try not to slide at all, or you'll just be flat spot central. Minus
I mean, it'll
one.
be about the same as you come out of the pits usually.
No. Earlier when I did a stop and go, I guess. Never mind. Yeah. So earlier my tires were freezing when I stopped.
909 is in the pits.
That feels better though, Tony, right? That looked better. Coming through that low stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting more grip under braking without going on the curbs.
Yeah, this is 909 scheduled stop though.
Yeah, but that means they only have to stop once more, and with this drive-through,
Yeah, the drive.
I feel like they're gonna be ahead of us.
Okay, driving through this lap.
Oh, I know what I did.
Yes.
Yeah, I ended the OBS stream and didn't end. Didn't end Well, that's how YouTube works, those two. It doesn't come up right away with these long streams like this. It has to buffer out. So check back tomorrow morning.
Yeah, looks like on the right. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Is that Crab House team? Yeah, 72.
Yeah.
Just don't forget to box, or not box, but
Copy. Yeah. Thanks.
not even. There goes Ted.
I suppose it was inevitable.
Yeah, we were probably gonna get one at some point, but it still doesn't.
I mean, we didn't get one warning for like over 7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a miracle in Spa. Like. To answer your question, Nick, I've been adjusting the car audio off and on. When I switched streams, I brought the car audio up. I just forgot to bring it back down. People are talking in Discord, but I know they're listening to the stream, and I don't feel like typing, so I've got to reach over my wheel and move my microphone. How are your tires right now? What are the pressures?
I can't quite see. 26.2.
Oh, yeah, they're on your
pretty
thing.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's
Thanks
not
for the
too bad.
reminder, though.
That's not too bad, but it'll still
Bye
take it
bye
back.
909.
So, yeah. One car behind. Just hold your line on the right. I don't know, it's not that far ahead. But,
Yeah, but we need to do an
drive-through.
extra drive-through.
Yep. So if they get themselves a drive-through though.
Plus, it's that fast driver in their car. So they'll stretch that.
True. Alright, well, I'm gonna send the stream on board with Mikhail for a little bit here. Or Nick, are you back? Can you? Let's go check in with Nick, shall we? Oh, Nicholas, are you back? No, he's not. Okay. I'm right on board with Mikhail for a little bit here while I step away from the computer and stuff. So. I just don't have the other cameras. You just watch over the dash cam for a little while, I guess.
Honda.
I'm gonna walk away for a few, so I'll be back. Stream might dip for a quick second, guys. We're just gonna switch over to broadcasters back over to Nick. We'll continue on working together.
Welcome, folks. This is a bit of an unexpected thing for me to do here. I'm Cameron Abastos, filling in for JC Lee while he finished running his errands here. We are in the last hour and 40 minutes of this race that has been full of battles and some very anxious panic attacks. I don't know if that's been covered before, but here is a quick rundown on how the teams are doing. Currently, RCI Motorsport Pink is holding a strong lead here in P1 over the car of Halo here, car 29. Next in with our team is Motorsport, RCI Motorsport Green, car 797, which we are on board with, piloted by Ethan J currently, after having a bit of a setback in the pits, leaving the pits apparently in second gear, causing some issues for their team. And then 2 places behind them, still top 10, but fighting for P6 in this race in class is Tony Bennett, part of 714 RCI Motorsport Purple. After suffering an early stop and go 30 for speeding in the pit lane, this team has fought back from being 20th overall and now sits 10th overall, which is quite an extraordinary battle, climb back up the field. And then we have our affiliated team in the GT4, piloted part of Ryan Mawson, currently Hemiaski, sitting in P19 overall, but is first in his class. I'm joined here by Nick Setnik, who will be the broadcaster, bring us the live pictures as the cars finish this final stint of this race. Nick, how are you feeling now?
Well, I slept a lot, which is great because I don't usually sleep that much, but that was a fantastic recap. I also noticed that we lost Team Yellow. What's up with that?
I'm not even sure. After I left the comms box, I went to grab me some dinner, went and relaxed a bit, finished up on some of my studying, and then I just see in the comms box, not comms box, in our team chat that they are retiring the car. I think there was about 5 hours left in the race. I'm not even sure, but it's quite sad to see that. I think after everything, they just decided to say, nah, let's call it an evening, we are done for now, and it is quite sad, but still good job to them. They still started the race, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a tough call for them to make to retire that car.
Yeah, absolutely. Last that I heard, Ryan Gill basically just got the car back to the pits and said, hey, like, this isn't going to work. And I believe there was another incident that they were involved in at some point in the middle of the race.
Yes.
So
Yes, I think the last incident I saw was just as I went off and tuned back in on the YouTube side, that Ryan lost control going up Eau Rouge and unfortunately placed the front end into the barrier there, which is just before Radion, which is quite sad. I mean, after all the struggles, the lights not working for Ryan and everything. Yeah, it's sad to see a car retire, but it's part of endurance, unfortunately.
yeah, absolutely. A 12-hour race. A few retires are going to happen. We currently got about an hour and a half left. We're at 1:20 p.m. sim time, and the temperature shot right up as soon as it got to daytime. We're currently at 26 ambient with a 34C track temp, which has been absolutely shredding tires out here from what I've heard.
Yeah, the track is a 2019 model, so I haven't driven it in a very long time, but also, yeah, tires are just going to be boiling at this point. So if the teams aren't managing the tire pressures correctly, they will unfortunately pay for it quite hard.
Well, not much can be said for the 799. They got into first position. They currently have what I believe is a 109-second lead over the 29 in second position. Doing absolutely fantastic. That team has been absolutely killing it.
They have absolutely been killing it. They have just emphasized my point that I said at the start of this race, being patient and taking things slow. definitely paid off for them. I mean, I think it was just as the daylight broke over the circuit. I'm not even sure that the car 29 got a warning for exceeding track limits or speeding in the pit lane. I'm not sure really, but they had to go through the pits again in order to serve that penalty, giving the position to car 799 and overall giving the lead for Michael Sandstrom in that 799. So again, patience is virtue and endurance. You know what's going to happen, and that is what makes endurance such a fantastic form of racing. It's all about patience really, and just waiting and seeing what the other cars in front of you will be doing.
I couldn't agree more. Well, it's been a fantastic day of racing. Most of our teams have made it this far. Only one retiree from the RCI crew. And it's, yeah, been a great day and night of racing. It didn't end up raining at all during the race. Doesn't look like it's going to happen now either.
Yeah, so far the forecast for our radar here in the comms box say that it should be dry for the last part of this race, but you never know, weather changes quite fast, and that's also quite a thing that a lot of these teams might have considered. I think it was Ryan, or no, sorry, one of the 797 drivers said in the team chat there once that if it is raining, that they will suffer greatly. We all know that the Lambo does not love the rain at all. They will suffer, and especially in a dry setup, that the rear end of that Lamborghini will just step out and it will say goodbye to you. And I think most of the teams here, they will be struggling if it starts raining. But so far, it looks like it will be a dry race till the end now, and I think all the drivers will just be happy to not deal with rain going through a rouge with dry tires or even a dry setup, which will be definitely a good thing there. And thank you Phil Roberts in the chat here just informing us that the 29 had a drive-through for track limits, and then speeding through the pit lane caused them for serving a drive-through. During the drive-through gave them a stop go 30. So I wasn't wrong when I said they had to go through the pits twice. I just couldn't remember if it was directly after each other. So fortunately, they pushed it. They tried to push the drive-through, get it over as quickly as possible, and maybe just missed their mark, which unfortunately they had to pay for dearly.
Dare I say, pulling a Mike Jones, much as it is.
Oh, yeah, they got slapped with the Mike Jones special, the slap and go 30, as was trademarked in chat earlier, which would be the special ability for Mike if he was a Pokemon. Yeah, we've had some very interesting discussions here in the comments box earlier today, discussing from food, should pineapple belong on pizza, is a hot dog a sandwich, all the way to what merchandise should be sold by RCI, should we release any. And so far, I think we can almost confirm stickers. Stickers have been kind of confirmed there, and Tom, the mailman Roberts, definitely pushing for a sticker in the form of a stamp. So who knows, folks, maybe soon we will be releasing some RCI merch. It's all a big maybe. And Phil Roberts here saying, I like food talk. Well, it's quite difficult to really talk about the food. I don't know. What's your take on that, Nick?
Well, I mean, you have to be someone who's very passionate about it, such as Jesse Lee. You wouldn't know it by looking at him or hearing him, but he's a very passionate baker. He likes baking pastries and various foods for himself. And, you know, so he has a lot of opinions on certain things, likes to look things up and use the power of Google to his advantage during the race. But, I mean, I guess I'm just such an open eater that I'm definitely not picky. I'm willing to try everything at least once. When Wolf got in here and said, you should try fruit with different foods, I'm just like, have you tried mango on pizza with just a little bit of chili on it? Very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
The
I
RCI
love.
cookbook is going to be released when Jesse Lee writes it,
Yes.
with some entries from Mike Jones and a weird section by me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm also consider myself a foodie. I mean, I love food, especially when you get to bake it, or if it's from baking to grilling to anything. My favorite recipe that I've ever tried myself is it's a Gordon Ramsay recipe for pork belly. Made it once and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's definitely something else. And Ivan here saying mustard on a watermelon. I'm brave, but I'm not that brave.
Yeah, that's a take. Kind of a worrisome take, I'd say. Is that a cultural thing somewhere?
I don't even know. Here's a question though for you, Nick. What would you say? Should tomato sauce be placed on chips or fries, or should be placed next to it? That's also a debate a lot of people are asking.
Oh, definitely to the side of it, because you want to get a perfect dip of sauce on the fry or on the chip.
See, that's where I don't agree. I always put it on top of my chips.
Because then how are you gonna pick it up? Do you eat it with a fork?
Yes.
Ah, well,
See,
I guess.
I'd never eat a burger. Like, it depends on how I feel, really. Sometimes I put tomato sauce on it, sometimes I don't. So it's really something else there. And so it can be anything, really. I normally place. See, someone also says there, Ryan D says, place it next to it. I put it on top of it. Everything is different, but that's the thing. But I still remember, when was it? I was very young. I came back from primary school. I always made I don't know if it's just us sandwiches with potato chips on them.
Oh yeah. That's a
Definitely, that was like the go-to snack for every kid that almost came out. If as soon as you get out of school, instantly a sandwich with potato chips.
Are you kidding me? That
And
was like the like lobster with butter dinner
yes,
for grade
yes,
school
for us
kids was a sandwich with some chips on it. Man, that was end of the road right
definitely
there.
something else.
But I did hear somebody walk through the door just
Yes.
now. Jesse Lee, are you here to break up this conversation?
Not really. I walked in and you guys were talking about making a cookbook or something. Guys, I gotta share something that just happened with me with everybody.
All right, please.
Of course, I had a little race of my own to do on a different sim, and then I had some errands to do for one in particular for work, and I also needed to pick up a few things at the grocery store, all of which I accomplished. But something shook me at the grocery store that has never happened to me before, and it completely ruined me.
Well,
And what is that, Jesse? Please share.
So I was at the checkout, and this kid called me ma'am.
Oof.
Totally not laughing.
And when I say kid, I mean kid in relevance to me. This is obviously a young adult of some sort, but to me, that's a kid. And I don't know if they were like nervous or not paying attention, but I got called ma'am, and I'm a he/him for those of you that are into that whole pronoun thing. I'm very obviously a he/him.
But Jesse, yeah, it's difficult. I mean, yeah, that's yikes. I've never been called that. So, do we need to start referring to you as Milady Jesse Lee or Milady Jim?
No. So I just straight up I gotta how are you doing, ma'am, is what I think
No.
exactly what was said. Has anyone else ever done that? Do you think, like, on accidentally? And I do that all the time. I sometimes forget, and my brain's on autopilot. I'm thinking about other things, but now I have a complex. So there's that. I'm shook.
Well, Bongo's making a great point that kind of loops us back to the beginning of the broadcast, that Jessie Lee is the true woman in the race.
Yes.
Bongo did a little
I'm
Uno reverse card on the table for you.
I'm gonna have to go with Jessie though. I've made the fault of calling a lady sir by accident.
Yeah, that I
I've
feel like that's
literally
more
went up to them.
common than the other way around, and I'm
I've
certainly
literally-
guilty of that. Something.
Yeah, yes, I've literally walked up to someone in a shop and was like, "Excuse me, sir, do you know where to find this?" They turn around and I see it's a woman. I'm like, can the earth just open up and swallow me whole, please? Because that is so embarrassing. Especially if their friend group is around them. And that is just so embarrassing. But, I mean, everybody makes a mistake.
Well, the thing is, I'm sure it was one of those absent-minded things, but I think we've all been told things by significant others that have kind of shook our perception of ourselves. This is on that level for me, where it's like, am I not manly enough to be a sir?
No, don't worry about that, Jesse. Just let it slide.
All jokes aside, I wanted to laugh, but I was afraid that I would hurt their feelings if I did that, because obviously they realized the mistake. By the way, they felt bad, but I also, it's just one of those things. It's like just like so much of our commentary, the Freudian slips are usually the most fun. Well, less than 1.5 hours to go. In fact, 81 minutes left of the race, and boy, how time has flown and things have changed. A little over 2 hours ago, the 29 having a drive-through that ended up being a stop-go 30. It's fairly similar in scale to how Team Pink won Bathurst as well, in a way. Of course, they were aided by slow zones in that race, or code 50s. That really hasn't been the case here. It was all one error. And if you go back to the first part of this broadcast, and we spent a large part in the middle of that race saying that, yeah, well, the 799's been here before, and they're very patient, and it always seems to come back to them, and you have to avoid mistakes, all these things. And I also have no particular stake in the 29 Ferrari, but they have got to be wondering what they have to do to win one of these races. It's like they're playing bingo for how to lose a race. Honestly, it's just been terrible for that. I'm gutted for them, but the elation that Mikhail and Fabian and of course Wolf must be feeling on the opposite side. What is that old saying? The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, the thrill of victory. Just 1 hour and 19 minutes away. And of course, it becomes ever important for Sundstrom and company to not make said mistake. Of course, we're riding with Ethan Jenkins here in the 797. What happened there? I was told that they had the pace and the wherewithal to potentially win silver, and they're down in 4th. Anybody got an update on them?
Well, while we were off, Jesse, I tuned into Ted's stream of their perspective, and apparently Ethan, when he left the pits, he was in 2nd gear, and that caused them to speed up, because as soon as you switch out of 1st gear, the pit limiter gets disabled immediately. And what happened was that caused the car to speed up, and that means exceeding the 50 kilometers per hour speed limit. I think it's miles per hour speed limit in the pits, and that led to them getting a drive-through. So they had to go surf the drive-through, and that led to them dropping 4 positions. But they have fought back and they've gained back 2 of those positions due to the result of 714 also getting a try-through for exceeding track limits. So currently they're busy hunting down car 45, which holds P3, and they are gaining some good time on them as we see them going through Rouge up onto Radion, and the 45 as just going through the first hairpin after the first chicane. So they have definitely still have a chance of going of getting a P3 finish.
Yeah, and going back to the 29, I mean, picking up really 2 pretty big penalties midway through the race, and I mean they're averaging. Well, I mean my tool's been freaking out for quite a while, so I don't know actually how far behind they are. I believe it's about a lap, from what I was told.
The gap between between 29 and 709.
And I believe they've been on their final warning for track limits as well for a good amount of time.
Talking about Team Pink.
No, the 29. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah. Well,
are they
we can't
in
confirm
danger of
that.
getting another drive-through penalty? Is that what you're saying?
Might be. I mean, I think the last time the gaps were updated on our little sheet here, it did say that they are about a lap down with Mikael Sandström just completing lap 269, and Hyla is still on lap 268, so they might be a lap down actually.
Well, the heartbreak for this race has to be with is it the 796? I think they were driving.
Yes.
That's a heartbreak for us. Several incidents in the night portion of the race, leading to a loss of confidence with Ryan Gill and a retirement at the end of Stewie's final stint. It's sad to see any team voluntarily retract from the championship. Of course, we talked to Ryan Gill after his first stint, talked about the troubles that he was having with the Porsche, and unfortunately it went downhill from there. Also, Ryan Gill probably done for this championship in total, and is looking for a substitute driver to keep Stewie in the championship for the final 2 races. Don't know if that's still on the cards or not. It would be sad not to see the Team Yellow Porsche.
Oh, like I said before, it's sad. It's gut-wrenching to see a team having to retire due to so many issues during a race, especially when a driver has a confidence knock, and it's always difficult to bounce back from that. But still, a massive amount of respect for Ryan and Stewie for still starting and competing, and even continuing until they felt they can't take it anymore. And still, we hope that Ryan gets back and is racing soon and takes all the time that he needs. But yeah, it looks like they're on the hunt for some new drivers. But luckily here at RCI, we have a lot of very talented staff and community racers that we can luckily call upon if needs be.
Oh dear, are we calling the 797 the Triple T team? So we have Triple R affiliation, now the Triple T. Oh my goodness, there you have it. I did, by the way, read chat. I did read your stories about accidentally calling people by the wrong pronouns and working in customer service. As somebody who only very briefly worked in customer service, absolutely hated it. I don't know what makes people so grumpy when they go to a grocery store or any particular consumer place. It's strange. You'd think they'd be pretty happy, but whatever reason, they're usually fairly grumpy. Maybe people are just grumpy in general.
Well,
whenever
Jesse,
they're-
whenever you
Yeah?
figure it out, please let me know because too many years.
Why
Oof.
are people grumpy whenever? Like, shouldn't you be happy when you're around?
No.
Like all the no. I mean, I understand why the employees would be grumpy. The wages do not flatter the work effort.
Correct. I mean, I'm not sure. I guess as a customer, the only thing I can think of is they see it as a necessity. It's something that they have to go do. They don't want to do it. They're usually pressed for other responsibilities, and it's just kind of an extra thing that they have to get done during the day. So they're already like not happy to be there. And then if anything happens that sets them back on time or effort or money, they're already at the end of the rope.
I think the strangest thing that teenage me encountered working at a grocery store was an older lady getting argumentative and pushy with me
Mm.
about not it was something to do with like all this was frozen corn on the cob, not like fresh. And I'm like, ma'am, I just work here. I don't even do produce. I don't work here. Or I do work here, but I don't work in this section. And she acted like I was personally responsible for this. And I'm thinking in my head, obviously you can't say it out loud, but I was thinking in my head, I was like, I didn't pick the corn. What do you want from me?
Well, but my thing is, I get annoyed easily. As well, I don't like going in public because most of the time, due to me being quite a short person, not considered very tall, a lot of people always just walk over you almost. They push you out of the way, or they are just very aggressive. And I'm a person that likes I have my own personal bubble. If I let you in, that's fine, but don't really get too close. And it annoys me that some people are always either in a hurry and then they push people out of the way, or they just don't respect other people. So it's just constantly, and that's what I hate about having to go out and being the only teenager, well, not only teenager, the only young person currently in my house. My mom not really wanting to go out a lot anymore. She's always like, Cameron, can you quickly go and buy me this or this? And it's my mom. I always do it for her. I love her. No problem there. It's just the having to go out and dealing with people is sometimes for me a very big problem, and it annoys me a lot sometimes.
Oh, people.
I like hearing the stories as Ethan Jenkins in the pit lane. I like hearing the stories in chat, talking about the customer service industry. Philip Roberts has strongly worded opinions based on that. Ivan brings up a good point with inferiority complex and simpletons, and of course Conway talking about people indeed being lazy. I think these are all keys to the right idea, gentlemen and ladies, if you are one. And I don't disagree with any of those statements. And I also hear that
Ooh, sorry, Jesse. 797 got hit with a stop and go 30 for speeding in the pit lane again. Quite interested to hear what happened there now.
Oh, God.
it's not only been the RCI teams, it's been many more rather besides. And that is Tony, who I think is just now coming in the 714. And yes, indeed, the 797, another stop and go 30. If that was on the 714, that would be a slap and go 30.
It's a slap and go 30 overall for any RCI team, it looks like.
Well, it's been a struggle. It's strange. You normally see it, these sort of penalties, but not necessarily this many. Don't know what it is about this race that's been particularly difficult, but we've seen it up and down the pit lane. Not even the leaders in their respective categories have been safe.
Big ol'
Oh.
F's in chat for that one. Another slap and go Mike Jones special.
Yeah, just got confirmation. Yeah, we call it the Mike Jones special ability if it was a Pokemon. A slap and go 30. But so confirmation here from Tom, also known as Lotus here, one of the drivers in 797, saying the pit limiter didn't go on as they entered the pit, so they had to try and manually keep the speed the first 100 yards of the pit lane. So it looks like
And
some technical issues there.
I'm assuming it didn't. They didn't
No.
match the 50k speed. I think it's 50. Is it 80 or 50? I'm pretty sure it's 50.
It
That
depends
has to
on
be
what
50.
work. If you go
Well, it
miles
has
per
to be.
hour, 50. Yes, yes.
Is it 50 miles an hour?
15 miles an
seems
hour. That's why they call it a code 50, Jesse.
I thought it was 50k's.
No. I'm not even sure now. I'm second
Why is it
guessing
in
myself.
miles an hour? That makes
I don't know,
absolutely no
but
sense. Why is it in Because if that was, it should be about 34 miles an hour pit lane speed, which would be about 50k's. But you might be right. It might be in miles per hour, but why? Chris Hay is British. All they do is miles an hour. Never mind.
sorry, 50 kph got fixed there by Tom now. Why can't we just stick to one unit of measurement? Why do we always have to have kilometers and miles?
Well, I mean, it's even worse than that. In fact, those are not. There's not only 2 units of measurement that we use. Those are the 2 most common ones. Obviously, it's the same thing with temperature. And unfortunately, we sort of have to use them all based on their various advantages. It is a bit confusing, though. Confused me just there. But I just assumed it was 50k's this entire time. I don't expect anybody to use miles an hour. I barely used miles an hour.
Yeah, this brings me back to a little joke that was posted. I think last month I posted in the Discord saying a kilometer joke, and then Americans not being able to understand it because it's kilometers per hour. Not taking a jab at any of my American friends here or anybody in chat. It's just, yeah, it's so confusing, the difference between kilometers and miles per hour. It's sometimes breaks my brain.
Yes, so it is 50k's, which is 30 miles an hour. I don't think that's right. I'm pretty sure 50k's is not a exact 30 mph. Pretty sure it's about 33 and a half, 34. Unless it is, and then how is that so perfect?
50 kph is technically 31.0686 miles per hour.
Okay, there you go. So it is about 30. Phil is right on all accounts in that case. But yeah, 30 mile an hour on pit lane makes sense to me. I was thinking if they're going 50, that's normal road speed here in the U.S. It's like that's dangerous.
No, but still, it's same here with us. Well, normally in our rural and urban areas, we can drive 60 kilometers per hour. So basically, that's just 10 kilometers per hour less than what we drive on normal roads, which is still considered fast. I would not want to stand in front of those cars.
Phil Roberts. Why do Americans use thermometer, not thermoyard? Well, I mean, RCI TV coming in here with the jokes again. It's getting worse into the race. It's a long race. It's getting bad. But yeah, I mean, the simple answer is despite the stigma that Americans don't use metric system, it's inevitable that you have to use the metric system. In fact, you are taught the metric system. I don't know where that stigma comes from, that Americans don't use the metric system. I guess it's because we do use miles per hour. But I mean, one of the first unit of measurement you learn in like preschool is centimeters, for God's sake. Centimeters is of course the base that we then multiply everything into, which is strange because you think you use centimeters, then inches, yards, or feet, yards, etc., and so forth. But they do go together. You just have to know what you're attempting to solve for. Of course, the metric system is easier to do that. There's no guesswork in it.
How is it easier?
What the metric system? Oh, it's absolutely
Yes.
because everything's divisible by,
And-
one of itself or 100 or whatever. So it makes complete sense. The imperial system does as well. It's a lot more precise, but it's also
That's why I like the imperial system.
yeah, it's precise, but it's just it's difficult to use. So that's why the metric system exists, because everything is very simple and it makes sense.
If I could place an emoji, it would literally be the what emoji? Like, how is the imperial system difficult to use? Okay, never mind. Wait,
Well,
you grew up
well, I
with
mean,
you
how-
grew
how-
up with
how
the
is it?
metric. I grew up with imperial. So everybody
No,
has a
I
different
grew
thing.
up. No, I grew up with both. Again, we don't have a choice here. We have to use both. But no, it's so Conway brings up a point here. The UK is the worst. Use the metric system with random Yankee land measurements thrown in. So see, that's the thing here, Conway. It's the opposite of that. We use the imperial system, which, by the way, is actually a European invention. By the way, the imperial system. It's not an American thing.
Yikes.
So we use the imperial system, but half of everything is in metric, and when you go to work on a car, you're never quite sure if it is going to have metric or imperial bolts and stuff like that on it, and it varies. So essentially, I have two sets of tools in my garage because you're never sure what you're going to have to use.
Well, yeah,
There's 12
going back
inches in
to
12 inches in a foot, Alpha. 12 inches in a foot. A yard is 3 foot, right? Is that right?
don't ask me.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
ask
right.
me.
My face when I'm trying to measure something and it's measured in kilometers per inch instead of bald eagles per freedom.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
oh,
the worst part
no.
is the imperial system is a European construct, and the imperial units that we use that everyone claims are American are actually British. You think we invented feet? No, that was the British. But there are
Listen,
things like
question.
a U.S. gallon, and what we call a ton is not the same as a metric ton.
It's confusing.
Yeah, what a metric ton's 2,000 pounds, and imperial ton is 1,000 pounds, which is very confusing. Which also relates back to the auto industry. You're never quite sure what they're talking about for, unless they necessarily specify. It's a whole thing.
Fabian,
Listen.
I'm so sorry this is happening.
But Jesse, how could Britons invent feet if people already had feet before the Brits invented them?
Wait, what?
Listen, Fabs, I am so sorry about everything. So, Fabs, just everything. Shall we go back to the Revolutionary War? I do apologize.
I have a better one for you, Jesse. I have
Yeah.
a better one for you. Okay, no, I'm not gonna start a war in chat since there's so many British people in the chat now. I do not want to start a war again.
Alpha zinged us all here. No, British didn't invent feet. That was evolution.
Yeah,
Oh
just as
my
I said.
word.
Yeah, that's a.
That was a good
Oh
one.
no, Ted Edwards has been into the wall.
As
Ooh, did I
always.
miss it? I missed it. As
I watched
always.
it back on. I watched it back on replay.
Oh, yeah,
Look at
there
the
we go.
damage on the 797.
Oh, and they're busy chasing Mike Jones. Oh, no. That
Well,
isn't.
we're-
Oh,
Definitely going to be struggling with that. Less than 1 hour to go in the race. And for those of you that have been with us for the majority of the day, I know a lot of you have. You're an extra kind of special, and we appreciate you spending literally your entire Sunday with us. Clearly, you need a better hobby, but we appreciate it anyway. It has been a heck of a race. for those of you that have been here the whole time, you have been treated to a heck of a race. Genuinely, it has been all over the place and very unpredictable and very fun. Big thank you, of course, to CHSR for allowing us to stream all of our POVs for all of our cars, and not only that, allowing us entry into this championship with so many different cars and so many different categories. We definitely appreciate that. This, of course, race 3 of 5, and it's the longest race of the year. 2 more races to go. The next one in mid-August, 1 month from now. But a big thank you to everybody there. Thank you for the likes, the subscribes, the comments in chat, of course, and all that. If you are interested in getting involved in ACC GT3 racing, well, RCI has a split for you. Just join the Discord in the description to get started and review the upcoming schedule for the new championships, starting some of them starting in August. Get ready and get involved. Doesn't matter if you're an esports pro or a very new beginner just starting out. Perhaps you just got a wheel. We have a split for you that you can jump in and start racing with. And of course, a big thank you to all the partners here at RCI that make all of this possible for us. Race Department, AK Informatica, Driver 61 Fanatec, and Sim Racing GP. If you're interested in being a better driver, well, maybe driver coaching is for you. Driver 61 offers one-on-one driving coaching. And if you use our discount code, you can get 25% off a coaching session over at Driver 61. More information in the Discord, and all those links are in the description of the video. Well, a recap for those of you just joining back. Wolf Matushka in the 799 again. It has been a long day for Team Pink. They started in 5th place, 8/10 off the overall pace, and despite being off the overall pace, just ever so slightly all day, they find themselves leading the race due to the exquisite consistency of all the teammates on that team. 777 of John Dalton, the OVRC boys, have been absolutely getting it done today. Looking like they're going to finish on the overall podium and get a third, a well-deserved one at that. Round of applause to all the OVRC guys. We love to see them in the RCI events, and love to have them show up and show out here in a race over at Chris Hayes Sim Racing. Well, it hasn't been a perfect day for the 714, though. Team Purple in the Lexus, but it's looking like they're going to finish in the top 10 nonetheless. That team started on pole in silver and was near the back of silver at the end of the first hour. A lot of early troubles, but Bart Macha and company have absolutely turned up the wick. Well, he drove back inside the top 10 and started threatening the top 5 in silver. In the 797, they will be undoubtedly frustrated with how the end of this race has gone. At one point near the halfway point, they were looking like they could potentially win the silver class. I don't think that's on the cards for them, but they will not give up. The Triple T team, as they're calling themselves, otherwise known as Team Green, are still plugging away. And of course, the 769 team, the Team Yellow Porsche, has retired after many off-track excursions. Ryan Gill will not return in that championship. It looks like Harry Conway has confirmed to us that he will be joining Stewie for the race in August. So Team Yellow looks like they will be back with an altered lineup for race 4 in the championship. And of course, Flying Husky Racing, the 101, currently driven by RCI commentator Ryan Mawson, doing a great job. They didn't qualify that GT4 car on pole, but they didn't have to. They have pretty much led almost the entire way and have a several lap lead. I think it's 3 laps they have over the 260 at the moment. So it'll have been a fairly boring day for them. But considering they didn't expect anything out of this race, they will be absolutely chuffed to have won it. Just 54 minutes left to go. I'm here in the box again. Jesse Lee, joined by Nick Setnick, Fabian Schmedberger from the 799 team, and Cam DeBastos. Cam, by the way, what time of night is it for you? I assume it's very late.
It is 11:45 in the evening. And it's freezing.
Oh, it's not. It's not that. Okay, so it is fairly late, but it's not. As
It's
late.
late. Well, technically, it's not late for me, but it is late for my parents. So I'm trying to control a bit of my voice volume to not bother them anymore.
We see.
But yes, I'm talking a bit soft and don't want to bother them. But yeah, that's also. I'm referring back to a comment here in the YouTube chat here, saying that it is too hot to drive at this moment, so they might as well watch others do it. I'm gonna say this: I envy you. I envy you a lot, as I am freezing. I mean, I did my championship race. I finished it last week Sunday, and I can tell you this: my feet were freezing. I don't drive with shoes, but I have these fuzzy socks that I drive with, and it is freezing. So just imagine how my hands are feeling, and yeah, it's not fun driving in the cold. So I'm glad I'm sitting this one out, but also sad at the same time. But yeah, it's definitely not my type of racing weather.
Well, I do apologize. I think I misspoke. I said the next race in the CHSR Endurance Championships in August. It's not. It's in September, and then there is one. The final race is in October, so there is no race next month. So the winner of this race gets a summer break, and they get to have 2 months as the winner before racing resumes in September. So thank you for that correction. We are joined by Fabian Schmedberger, one of the three drivers in the leading 799. Fabs, it has been a heck of a weekend for the 799 Pink team. You've got Wolf Matushka with you and Mikhail Sundstrom as always. What's it been like working with Wolf?
It's first of all, it's always interesting to get something new into the team. Like it has almost been the same experience as I've had when I first started with Mikhail, where we first exchanged some things, like what we both know about the game, about the setups. Yeah, we did the same with Matushka, as he's currently a student for automotive engineering. He has some very good knowledge when it comes to cars, especially racing cars and their setups. So of course I had to take my chance and ask him a few questions about car setups. Yeah, it's been very interesting because he's like we thought we were doing that already pretty well, how we plan out our stuff, our stints, our setups and stuff. But then we see how Wolf is doing it, and he's at least 1-2 levels above us. And he's just showed us a few things that he does, and I guess that will help us in this championship even more.
Fabs, is there a drop round in this championship, or does every race count?
No, there's a drop round in this championship, but as that race can potentially bring you twice as many points, it is very crucial to score in Spa here, and score well in Spa, because if you have a bad result, it will still count, because yeah, you probably will still get more points than a single race.
I have you scored as second, and now leading if you continue to do so. That's, you gotta admit, that's really impressive considering you won the first 2 races. And it's not a max points day, but certainly it's about as good as you can do. I think the 29 is going to get first, and second.
Yeah, that's correct.
I don't think that will that tie you effectively on the day?
No, we get
Or
1 point out of them.
right, because the is points at the end are worth slightly more, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. So as a winner, you get 25 points at the end of the race, and at the 3 hour and the 6 hour mark, you get 12 points as the first place there.
Mm.
So you can max get 24 points in the first 6 hours, and
Well,
25 points in the race end.
well, it's been a crazy day. Talk us through your day. Started fifth. The team drove up towards the front of the field. You spent a lot of your time on the podium, and it just sort of came to you a couple of hours ago. Does it feel reminiscent to any other race that you've ran this year? Because it kind of has that vibe where Team Pink is there, they're around, they have enough pace to stay in the fight and keep people earnest. And then the second somebody else makes a mistake, all of a sudden you guys are the ones leading, and it's so difficult to beat a team like you guys. How's it been from your team's perspective, though?
I mean, first of all, you're completely right. We're already joking in our team chat about that it's basically a carbon copy of every other endurance race I've done so far with Mikhail. Like, we started in P5. That's like we usually start P3 to P5. And then Mikhail has a great stint in the first hour and gets us a position or two. Yep, check. And yeah, then we just wait until everybody else does its mistakes. Check, that happened as well. So yeah, but my day didn't start as well. It wasn't horrible, but I had the first proper night stint, and I did 400 laps preparation, but I never prepared for night racing, which was dumb from myself because I had a hard time getting into rhythm because some brake markers weren't working for me anymore. And I also put myself under a bit of pressure because I've seen how fast Vincent Ebrich, when he was still in front of us, was driving, and I knew that I couldn't be as fast as him because I don't know, maybe the Ferrari is just faster here around in Spa. But I've seen the practice pace, and that was always like half a second faster than us, so I know that I couldn't beat them on pace. But I was very frustrated with my first stint because I expected a higher pace from myself because it was colder, and usually we were practicing in the normal 4 p.m. conditions. So I was expecting that I was going to be faster in the night, but that wasn't happening. I guess I was just overdriving the car, and we did some setup changes 2 days before, and I was not really used to that. So yeah, the first stint wasn't really my cup of tea. I was really frustrated with that. Then the second stint, after I had a bit of a debriefing with Mikhail, how to bring my pace back, my second stint was a lot better. I finally got some confidence back, and that helped me gain a good bit of lap time. And yeah, I didn't also do a mistake like I did in the first stint where I spun out. And yeah, and then the third stint was I was just driving along, and suddenly I see the message that car number 29 is getting a drive-through penalty, which was a very nice message for ourselves because we wouldn't have gotten them on pure pace alone. We still had a strategy trick in our bag. We don't know how well it would have worked out, but that we would have tried to go for some risky things to make a win work, but we couldn't have done it on pure pace alone. But that's
so that's interesting. You guys never gave up. You were still willing to try some things and try to contest the win there. That's interesting. I thought, now here's what I was thinking. If there is a drop round and you'd already finished second in both stages, I would have thought that you would have been okay with finishing second, but here you are telling me you guys were willing to sort of gamble a little bit.
I mean, it wasn't really a gamble because we were one lap ahead of P3 anyway, so we wouldn't have lost anyway. Even if we would have gotten a penalty for a drive stint time violation, we wouldn't have lost P2 most likely. So it was a bit of a risk, but not really. It was mainly if we get P1 or if we stay in P2. But yeah, of course, as I told you before, you really need to score well in Spa, because that race can't be your drop round, because you get so many points. So you have to get many points in that race. Otherwise, it doesn't help in your favor, basically.
Really quickly, Ivan, that's very unfortunate to hear that. We hope that situation improves for you. We're talking with Fabian Schmedberger, one of the 3 drivers for Team Pink leading the race currently. Is it true that you have an entire lap over the 29?
Almost. Right now on track we should be around 35 seconds behind them, which means that we are I have to do maths now.
2.5 sectors ahead of them.
Yeah, or 1 minute and 45 seconds, I think it is. We are ahead of them. And so yeah, they basically have to drive 4 seconds a lap faster than us to catch us. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, that definitely has changed the race a lot, and I haven't even talked about the stop and go penalty they got after the drive-through. So that changed our whole race and how we went along with our strategy and with how much risk we want to take, because we didn't have to take any risk.
What was that like, Fabs? Obviously, you would have seen that they got to stop and go on top of that for speeding in the pit lane, which has been going around with a lot of teams for whatever reason this particular weekend. What was that message like? Certainly, one of you had to mention it. Was it utter shock and surprise, or what was the conversation when that happened like?
There was not really a conversation between us. I've noticed it myself on the HUD, but what I thought to myself was the first thought was that I was surprised, a bit shocked maybe, not too much, but a bit shocked. But the next thought I had was how ironic it is, because that's always how our endurance races go. I don't know why, but we are so lucky. We kind of have Lewis Hamilton levels of luck here in this championship.
Well, there's a couple things you can't say on the RCI channel, and that's one of them.
Why though? It's true.
It's Fabs just break a curse here.
Because it's my show, and I said no, you can't say that.
Oh, the Jesse Lee show.
Why doesn't it say the Jesse Lee show in the title then?
Because we don't have the copyright for that, but we do with RCI.
Okay. But also, this is in the show that Jesse Lee was late to as well.
I mean, it's his own show. He can do whatever he wants. Right?
Also true.
I wasn't late. I was precisely on time.
Mm-hmm. But Fabs, I have a question here. Do you have, for our RCI green team, they are a bit demotivated after everything that has happened, Tommy is saying that they fought for a P1 or even a podium for 9 hours and then suddenly going downhill. Any motivation for them to keep on going, because they are quite down in the dumps at this moment?
I mean, as I said before, you have to score well in this race. This race can't be a drop round. If this race is your drop round, that is very bad for your championship. So yeah, definitely keep on fighting. There's still 40 minutes. It's been going a bit downhill, of course, but that's how endurance races sometimes go. You know, it's not. I mean, it's a bit ironic that I am saying that from my high horse, where I have so much luck in my endurance races. But that's how endurance races sometimes go. But especially in those races, you shouldn't give up. Just just try to fight through it, even if the outcome might not look very good for you. But you never know if someone in front of you is DNFing or if they have a penalty. You know, it's an endurance race for everyone, not only for your team.
Fabs, I've got a couple of really important questions, and I'm hoping that you can answer them.
Oh no, here we go again.
First of all, do you put pineapple on your pizza?
I've never done so, but I don't have anything against that.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
We're no longer friends, as it turns out.
Yikes.
Why should a hot dog
Ouch.
be a sandwich?
Because it goes in between a slice of bread like a sandwich.
Okay, but for me, a sandwich has to have a flat slice of bread.
That is true.
Eh?
Yeah.
I would like to see where it says that in the Bible, that it has to be a flat slice of bread. Bread is not
Bread-
historically flat.
No, bread not, but a sandwich is.
No.
Is there a definition of a sandwich in the Bible? Is that what you want to tell me?
No, but there is a definition of a sandwich. It is anything between a bread roll or a bun or anything like that. It does not say that it can't be a hot dog bun is it's just a split roll is what we would call it. And there is no definition of what between bread means. It doesn't say. A lot of people argue that it says between two slices of bread. That's not true. It just said in bread.
Okay,
I'm looking
today
this
I
up. I have a feeling Jesse's grabbing at straws there.
No. I've
believe it.
looked this up before. Ivan, I'm about to ruin your perception of reality. I've eaten hot dogs and tortillas before. Basically, a hot dog taco at that point. When you're a broke college student, stuff happens. But yeah, the official definition of a sandwich is something between something in bread or between bread. It does not make the distinction that it has to be two slices.
I succeed my position. By definition, a hot dog is a sandwich, according to the all-knowing Google.
But is that the American definition or is that in the global?
It doesn't matter.
Definition.
There's no such thing as a metric or an imperial sandwich. Also, stop thinking imperialistic measurements are American. You invented it in Europe.
No. Okay, this brings me back
I'm talking
again.
to Fabs.
This debate is not about imperialistic measurements.
But we can make it realistic. We're bringing this back again. You said earlier, Jesse, that the metric system was made by the British people, right?
No, that's not what I said. I said the imperial system. The reason that we use it is because the imperial system was largely used in Britain. That's
Exactly.
where
But do we classify? Oh, I'm gonna be hated for this so much. Can Britain be classified as part of Europe?
Well, it's not continental Europe, obviously. And it never has
Exactly.
been. Yeah.
So can we, by definition, and I'm bringing definition again, classify it as part of Europe? I'm gonna be hated by my own team for this now.
I mean, yeah, it technically is considered part of Europe. It's not, again, not continental Europe. Philip Roberts says you can have an open sandwich, or as we would call it in America, an open face sandwich, which is a slice of bread with toppings rather than a filling. Interesting.
JC just trying to. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't say that. Phil Roberts said that. Phil Roberts also says, yes, England is part of Europe. Iceland is also part of Europe. Is it really?
But we can't take Phil's word. I mean, he is part of the UK. We can't ask him. He's being biased.
Bashi got a lot of fun out of that comment. There's no metric sandwich. Can we put that on a shirt potentially? There is no metric sandwich.
Oh man.
I mean,
But
a
then
meter
again-
long sandwich would be pretty big.
Yeah, an inch sandwich will be quite big then. Wait, okay, disregard that comment. It's late for Cam. I'm tired. I'm not making sense at this moment.
I mean, it's late for the European crowd. We thank you for hanging in there for the final 30 or so minutes of this race. It's not early for me. It's 6 p.m. There's going to be a very short dinner at my house and a very long nap leading into my Monday morning for me personally. So even still, I can appreciate staying up late, see the conclusion, and hopefully see the 799 do what I feel was almost unfathomable when this season started. Going 3 for 3 in a championship in this championship, it's just insane.
Yeah, it's insane, but I mean, I can't be happy about that result because we haven't scored every point there is on the table.
I can't tell if you're serious or not, Fab. So
No,
I'm just
not.
gonna.
I'm not.
Okay. I was gonna say, I mean, I would absolutely be chuffed. I mean, you don't want to win, you know, at the expense of somebody else, obviously, but my heart does go out to the 29 bunch. I mean, they're stacking up different ways to lose races. I've mentioned that a few times. It's frustrating for them, surely. They got taken out of one of the races and they had stop and go issues in the other. But that says something. I think you should hold your heads high over there at Team Pink, because consistency rules all. And no matter what was going on the track, the one consistent part was the 799 was running good enough lap times, lap after lap, staying out of trouble, and put themselves in a position that if something did go wrong in front of them, and I'm not talking about just for this race, I'm talking about all three of them so far, that they could win this race. It was contact between the leaders that set it all up at the last round at Laguna Seca. It was a very eerily similar situation as today at Bathurst. And the difference with Bathurst, though, I thought was, I did the math and I was pretty sure that you were going to catch them anyway. It was just expedited by the code 50s and the penalty that the team in front of you got.
Yeah, I think so too. I've done
Today
some
the-
maths as well, and I think your math is not wrong.
Thank you. And you know, when a German tells you you've done the math right, that is basically a stamp of approval there.
Yeah, it is. Can get yourself a known crown now. I did some maths right crown, and you can run around with that
Yikes.
with the high hat.
Do you know I actually own an iron crown?
What?
Why?
It's a long story, but that thing is very... You know that old saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown? They are not joking. That thing is heavy. So comfortable, too. It's no wonder why they started putting, bolstering and stuff on the crowns. It's more than decoration. It's obviously to keep it from being that heavy. Of course, what we would consider medieval crowns look nothing like what we largely assumed them to be, because again, the absolute weight of those things.
Also, folks, just a little clarification. All the jokes and stuff between me and Phil is just jokes, nothing personal, anything. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun sometimes.
Yeah, Phil Roberts, of course, one of the RCI crew, and we to say that we poke fun at one another would be putting
It's
it very.
understatement. Yes. we roast each other on a whole different level. If George G. Max Smith was here, he would definitely send me to the shadow realm in terms of
If George
roasts.
G. Max Smith was here, I wouldn't be wearing pants.
Why? No.
But why are you not wearing pants? Why are you wearing pants anyway? Why do you need a George Smith to remove your pants?
Listen, I'm not here.
PG-13
There's
people.
question-
PG-13.
There's questions that I can't answer.
Oh, that's
And,
alright.
that's fine.
Yes, okay, I will take one for the team. Like Harry said, can we all just go back to bullying me? Not gonna lie, I kinda miss it.
Do you
No,
know
it's
what's
not bully,
interesting?
it's just fun bully.
Here's what we're gonna do, everybody in chat and everybody here in the booth. We're gonna play a little game, and I know the answer to this because it sticks out in my mind. There's only one person in the history of RCI broadcasting who has ever gone over the line past what we deem acceptable on the stream. And they've done this twice, and it's the same person. I'm going to give you a hint. It's unlikely to be the person you think it is. Who was too hot for YouTube?
Mike Jones?
No, I
Fabian
said it's
Schmidt.
not. Nope, it's not the person you
Oh.
think it is.
Are they in this comms box?
Not currently, no. But they are part of the broadcasting.
George.
Except Nick.
Nope,
Nick hardly
it
speaks.
It is Stewie. Stewie has
No.
said more dirty words that can get you demonetized and stuff in the box than anybody else. He actually did that earlier. I was doing a driver interview, and he said some words. There were some words in there.
Can you repeat them for me? I haven't watched the stream back then.
There were some F's in there, and of course, in the current climate of YouTube,
Like
you can't
F like Fabian. What was he saying
No.
about me?
only that you were doing a good job.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Oh no.
But no, Stewie, who normally is used to talking in our ears, and this is what I think this is. He's normally used to talking to our ears. He can say whatever he wants because you at home can't hear it, but we can hear it. He will occasionally get a little colorful with his language, and he's done that several times on broadcast. That ironically, Nick is always broadcasting for some reason. And it happened earlier today, and I kind of laughed at myself. But today it was a very sharp F word.
No.
He said the R word once as well on the stream. I was like, "Ooh, that's."
Don't know the R word. You have to.
R
help
word,
me
you
there.
mean ridiculous? I wish. Harry Potter.
It's very humorous to me because I know why it's a thing because he's used to being able to say whatever he wants to say. Oh dear.
See, that is where I'm happy where I'm so glad that whenever we do these type of endurance races, you don't hear what is going on in the team voice channels, especially if I'm racing there. I think Tom Bryan can confirm. When I race, I'm quite aggressive. And
Well,
yeah.
here's the thing, Cam. We relay a lot, and this is for you at home. We relay a lot of the things that are said, but we also don't say exactly what people say. There's been a lot of things that we've repeated on stream today that we cleaned up before we said it.
Oh, okay.
By the way, that's another myth right there, Glimmerl, by the way. There's the myth that roundabouts aren't a thing in America. It's just not true. In fact, I had to, part of my driving test when I turned 14 for my permit and then 16 for my full license, was the proper way going around a roundabout. They're actually fairly common in the U.S. South for whatever reason, usually in town centers and all that. I don't know where. I guess it's because people are used to grid cities like New York and L.A. where roundabouts are a thing. But in the rural South, roundabouts are well, I mean, commonplace enough that there's at least 5 or 6 of them in my county that I live in.
Took the bait. Wow. Yeah, as you can see in chat there, Tom confirming aggressive is the understatement of the century. Yes. I have been told that multiple times by our neighbors that don't even share a wall with us, that they can hear me sometimes racing.
So Phil Roberts asked, Tom, who would you prefer as a teammate, Angry Cam or Angry Phil?
Tom has to remember that Angry Cam means getting positions and not taking any nonsense. Rather full, wow. Okay, Tom, I understand. Never mind that I'm the guy that started RCI Green. And got you pulled in, it's fine. I understand, I can see the two friends.
Well, Fabs is what's the pit cycle looking like for the 799? We talked to Matushka way earlier in the race, and he said if all things go to plan, there'd probably be a splash and dash at the end of the race. Is that still on the cards, or will Wolf just finish out without having to come down pit road again?
We have to come to the pits again, but we just do a drive-through.
Oh, so you don't even need fuel, you're just resetting the drive stint timer.
Exactly.
Excellent. So that situation, I guess you could argue improved, because the last time we talked about it with a member of Team Pink, it was you had to get some amount of fuel. That isn't the case here, but a reset of the timer, for those of you that may not be aware, you don't actually need to get out of the car to reset your stint timer. You just have to come down pit lane. The second you hit the timing line, it resets your timer. Of course, there still is the max driver time for each driver, but nobody at Team Pink is in danger of going over that timer.
Yeah, I think Wolf is actually pretty close to that, but yeah, we won't reach that timer.
Oh, don't mention Star Wars. You'll get me
Oh
started.
no. I know we've had it. But I'm surprised is that they don't remember it. We've literally had this discussion in the RCI staff Discord where we spoke about which member of the RCI staff is which Star Wars character. We've literally had a discussion. I said there I haven't watched Star Wars at all in my life, and yeah.
Cam, do you know what's interesting? In the
What?
time it's taken for this race to play out,
Oh my
you could have
gosh,
watched.
no.
You could have watched 6 of the 9
No.
films. I've just realized that.
I've had better things to do.
Here's the thing. I reckon that if you watch Star Wars from start to finish, you would actually like it. They're not bad, Star Wars.
No.
Well,
it's just-
actually, yeah, I'm not going to start this argument again, but it is a single Star War. It never ended. You can change the name of the Republic and the Empire, but that does not mean the war ended. Soviet Union changed names 5 times and had 7 different leaders, but it was still a Cold War, people.
I would much rather prefer watching Indiana Jones.
You like Harrison Ford, do you? Or is that are you being mean?
No, I love that film. I love those films. I even have the actual screen, the movie books. I have them actually right next to me on my desk here. I started reading them again. My parents had to actually take the books away when I was on school because instead of studying for exams, I was reading those books. That's how much I love that movie.
Indiana Jones was pretty good. It's a bit some of the stuff in there is a bit campy now, if you go back to some of the originals, but still they definitely hold up. I would also argue the same with Star Wars. They're a bit dated, but the originals are decent. If you were going to have to skip any, Cam, I do agree with Ivan. You could probably skip the new trilogy. The new trilogy was very flashy, but it's just about it, to be honest.
I've got a friend, she loves Star Wars and everything, so if I ever need a quick TLDL, whatever the abbreviation for that is, I can just ask her to give it to me and she'll give it to me in less than 10 minutes. Or I can just watch Big Bang Theory.
There's a lot of feelings coming out in the chat right now.
Make some, you lose some. But I do have to say, after seeing James Bond, some of those movies are absolutely, I just love them. Which one were the, if I am going back to, yes, I am deflecting. James Bond, I think it's The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonwalker, which was it, The Living Daylights, Tomorrow Never Dies, Pierce Brosnan, Timothy Dalton, and oh my gosh, what's his name now? Can't remember his name. Those are the type of movies that I love, but these new movies that came out with what's his name again? Can't remember now. He's the new James Bond.
Yes, I always forget his name.
Wait, what did I say? Moonraker. I don't know what I said. Oops. Yeah, they yeah, I can't remember his name. Pierce Brosnan. There we go. Those are the movies I loved. Moonwalker, Michael Jackson. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get roasted for this now.
Listen, we can joke all we like. You like what you like. I prefer to live in a world where we have Star Wars and Star Trek, and I'm happy for it. And
I'll watch Star Wars.
Also pretty good.
I'll watch Star Wars, but then I want someone else to also watch it with me, because I'm not gonna watch them alone because I'm gonna fall asleep.
Here's the thing. This is what I propose: RCI movie night. All right.
Yes.
Where we watch a film. It'd be a nice thing. We could watch a film, and I don't know how much you would all like watching a film with me. I'm generally very harsh about some films, specifically when they don't make sense.
No, absolutely. I'm one of those people that will dissect the film from top to bottom to make sure that everything is actually makes sense. So I think that might be my turning point for Star Wars, and you might have to take my mouth shut, otherwise I will analyze and examine and pull that thing around out to the last microfilm and just wreck everything.
I will tell you a movie that we watched over the weekend, this weekend, that people seem to enjoy it, but I just didn't. That Amazon Prime movie thing. What was it called? The Tomorrow War. We watched that, and it started out really good, and then it just got very blasé after that. It's just like you're creating exposition for no reason. Stop it. Get to the bit where you solve the problem.
What's your take on Jurassic World and Jurassic Kingdom?
I didn't mind it. Then again, they couldn't do worse than Jurassic Park 3, so anything was uphill from there, and I thought it was fun.
Do you love that film franchise?
I enjoy it. I tell you what happened about 3 or 4 years ago when the new Jurassic Park film came out, the first one, not the second one. Jurassic World. Yeah, when Jurassic World came out, I picked up Lego Jurassic World, which has all the films in it, or it did at the time. And I played through it, and I really loved that game. I know a lot of people are on the fence about Lego Jurassic World, but I really like that. I also just like Lego games in general. And then I went back and I watched all the films. You know, they're okay. The animation, and I mean, it's not a lot of animation. I mean, there is animation, but some of those dinosaurs were actually physical props. and that all sort of holds up. The way that they're presented doesn't, because we've learned so much in the past 25, 30 years about, you know, dinosaurs and what they actually probably looked like versus what we thought they looked like. So some of the models are a bit strange. It's the same thing as if you go back and watch a film and they talk about Pluto being a planet. It's the same thing with the dinosaurs. But the actual film, they all sort of hold up. Just skip 3 for goodness sake.
Sorry, I never will watch Jurassic World or any Jurassic film.
Interesting. Why? You don't like dinosaurs?
Yeah, I guess that's from growing up. I've never really had a thing for dinosaurs. It's just me. Guess I'm just kind of weird.
Alright, I'm jumping back to my team now.
Sorry, Fabs. We got sidetracked on the thing. Well, give our best to the team, and if you guys want to jump over here at the end of the race for a final word before we end, be our guest. Good luck in the final 15 or so minutes.
Oh, thanks, and see you later.
That was Fabian Schmedberger jumping back to his team for the final few minutes. We're talking about films here, not a lot going on in the race. Triple T, otherwise known as Motorsport Green, still inside the top 10. That's what their goal has become. And they're looking pretty decent. 714 doing well in 9th place, 1 place higher up. Ryan Mawson looks like he's going to finish out the day in the 101 for GT4 and win that class. Wolf Matuszka, we heard from Fabian Schmedberger that Matuszka will finish in that car. They will have to come down pit lane to reset his stint timer, but they will not need to stop. 29 is still very far behind. So far behind, in fact, that they're in front of the 799. Just about 2 or 3 turns in front of the 799 to be exact. It would take an apocalyptic mess up for the 799 to lose this race. Certainly the focus now is all about getting through the final 11 minutes, not taking too much curb, not going over the lines. All the little things that you have to do to keep yourself in contention is now what they have to do to win this race. They finished second best in the first 3 hours where they got points. They finished second best at the halfway point where they got points. They're looking to win outright. And if they do that, they will have 1 more point than the 29 on the day. And you heard Schmedberger say, if you're going to use your drop round, this wasn't the race to do it, considering you basically could earn double points. And while it won't be a max points day for the 799, they still will be the team that walks away with the most in Pro. And that means they only have to really perform in one of the last 2 races in the season. Because if they do that, even if they didn't even finish race 4 or 5, as long as they did well in at least one of them, well, it won't matter at all. And we'll have to wait another 2 months to see the next round in the Chris Hay Sim Racing Endurance Championship, as Matuszka is in the 799, and by in I mean they're driving through to reset their timer. No stop necessary. They have the fuel to get to the end. Yes, I've been asking what the red box is. The red box is the AM field. It is Pro, Silver, and AM. And the white box with the little blue triangle in the bottom corner, those are GT4 Pro cars. There was in the first and second round GT4 cars that were silver and AM as well. That did not transpire here today, as there are only GT4 Pros. But effectively, there were 6 different classes when this championship started.
I have to correct you there, Jesse. I think they said that due to the fact that in the first round, they for the GT4s being so minimal, they just decided to throw them all into one big class to make it easier for them to calculate the points and stuff. So I think we did start with 6, but they just threw them together to create the 4 classes. So technically, we still have the GT4 AM and the GT4 Silver drivers here, with one of the teams not racing here today in the GT4 champ. But yeah, technically all drivers are here except for that one team.
Well, there you have it. Just a handful of minutes left in the race. It has been a fantastic one if you are RCI Team Pink or Flying Husky in the 101. If you're anybody else, it has been a very daunting affair. But we will bring all but one team to the line here. And that's an accomplishment in and of itself. Of course, this race based on the 24-hour race. But just like every race in the Chris A Endurance Championship, the actual race time cut in half, so 24 hours becomes 12. And as we all know with endurance racing, getting to the finish line is more than half of the battle. I feel like the 7114 Purple Lexus will be pretty happy with where they ended up, despite the early frustrations and the mistakes. They're going to finish 9th overall and 5th in class. Again, that car started on pole, but fell way down the order early in the race. They were well outside the top 5. I think they were running 8th or so in class at the time, 8th or 9th, and they've steadily made their way back up into the top 10.
So Jesse, apparently the 797 is in pursuit of 714. From what I see here, they have closed the gap down immensely. So then we might have a battle here in the last 5-6 minutes of this race, which is quite interesting. So
Well,
that
there's only one
P9, what?
There's only one problem with that. That's Mike Jones in that car, and he really slaps.
He makes mistakes.
Of slapping Ted Edwards around.
He might make mistake every now and then. After
What
all,
do you
Mike
think in
Jones
chat?
is still human.
What do you think in chat? Will Mike Jones block Ted Edwards at the line if he has to? I think absolutely he will. The only reason I say that, Cam, is because I would do the same thing. You're going to pass me in the final few minutes? No.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ted Chat is definitely telling him to push as hard as possible because he's definitely going, but apparently he's tight on fuel, like Phil just said here. 4 laps to go. No, he should be more than fine, therefore. I mean, about 2-minute laps. So, and there's 5 minutes left. That's about 3 laps, 3.5.
How economical is a Lamborghini GT3?
It's really good on fuel.
Fuels. There you go. Just don't.
The tires are quite well. Well, from the times I've driven it, and the fuel, it's not that heavy on fuel. Funny enough, it's quite light on it. I mean, from what I see, it's like 3.95 liters per lap, so it's not that bad. Still has 16.7 liters left in the tank, so yeah, it might be an interesting battle going on now.
I'm still waiting for in reference to Harry Conway, comment in chat. Mike Jones doesn't care. He'll block anyone. Still waiting for the day that he blocks me and I send him and Dogecoin to the moon. Not a sponsor, of course. Ivan comments, I can't keep the car on the track for half a stint, so watching all these guys, even in last place, is amazing with the consistency and patience to race 12 hours. I hear. Absolutely echo that. It's an accomplishment. Most of the battles getting there. I mean, to talk about Jimmy Broadbent, what did they finish 9th in the iRacing 24 Le Mans? They had an absolutely miserable race they did, but they didn't give up. It's not about giving up. It's about seeing the finish, and I think we can all respect that. Tough race, this particular one, this Chris Hay 12-hour of Spa. A lot of drive-through penalties, a lot of crashes. We've lost a handful of cars, so attrition wasn't very high. But
7 cars.
Oh, we lost 7 cars, so it was significant, the attrition rate. But it was a lot of incidents, especially in that night portion. And a lot of code 50s and a lot of bent up race cars. And as unfortunate as that was, it has kept the race very interesting indeed for the most part.
I'm trying to see where the 799 is. Okay, they have just gone up a roost, so there's maybe one more lap left in this race here. As we go into the final minutes of this race, definitely been one entertaining race here, but it looks like the 797 will not be able to catch the 714 before the end of this race. But definitely a good job for them for hanging it out there, and yeah, it's definitely been something else. So I think maybe about 2 laps left in this race here, Jesse, and then we are done. That's the end of 24 hours in 12 hours.
Well, Conway says, I've somehow driven almost 4 hours straight without a mistake. I was like a man possessed, then a man depressed when I bended and retired. Conway, I didn't know you could rhyme.
He's a poet and he didn't even know it.
Hey! Well, certainly fuel savings going on for Team Green. They have lost 2+ seconds now, just trying to limp that car home and get a top 10. Top 10, nothing to turn your nose up at, certainly. Looks like RCI is going to come home with 3 cars in the top 10 overall, winning the race overall, of course, and the 2 cars at the sort of in the middle of silver, in fact. And just one more time, I was just reading chat earlier at Oriosh, who goes, John Dalton, who goes by Oriosh on Twitch, decided not to stream this today, but he might have wished he had done, because it is going to be a 3rd place in class and an overall podium for the 777. The OVRC boys are going to bring it home. They've been a long-time supporter of RCI, so we definitely wish them well. And for Ryan Mawson, he's going to have some stories to tell me for Night Owl this coming week. Of course, I Nick Setnick broadcast Night Owl with Ryan Mawson and myself on comms. He is going to be a winner in the Chris Hay Endurance Champ here in a minute or so.
Ooh, I might have spoken a bit too early. Looks like Green is going to cut it extremely close with this fuel, with the leader going on the final lap only now. So, yeah, they might cut it close, extremely close, but who knows? Maybe they can pull a rabbit out of the hat, but might have spoken too soon, and I hope that I didn't just curse them. Certainly do not hope so.
Well, time has expired. The 799 on the final lap of the race. I've actually lost them on the track map. I don't know where they are. I think they're under the 57 coming through Poulan. Yes, indeed, they are coming through Poulan. And unfortunately, it will be one more lap for the 797. Or is the 137 on a different lap? If so, I would just stop here at the line if I was them.
It's difficult to say there, Jesse. 137, according to the timing sheets that we have.
Yeah, they're on a different lap. Yeah,
they're full lap behind.
I wouldn't have done that if I was Ted Edwards. I would have told.
No, that's
risk. Part of Triple T. Yeah, I would have genuinely pulled off and stopped. There's nothing in the rules that say you can't do that. I would have pulled off and I would have been going slow that whole lap and allowed the 799 to lap me again. Because when the leader crosses the line, everybody that comes to the line after them finishes the race. Well, it's going to be a fantastic day for RCI Team Pink. 3 in a row, the 799 will win here, the 12 Hours of Spa, the Chris Hay Sim Racing third round race, the longest race of the season, and they're still perfect. Wolf Matushka has the honors of taking the car across the line, joining them for the longest race, and gets a win with Mikhail Sundstrom and Fabian Schmedberger. And it was consistency and perseverance all day that led them to victory. Once again, may have not had the fastest car, but certainly the most consistent, and that's going to get them the win. All the cars filtering through.
Massive congratulations to the team there in 799. Well deserved. Played it textbook, really. Just be patient, focus on the consistency, and let the race come to them. So, very congrats to the 799. Well deserved. And yeah, 343, as Harry said there in chat. And let's hope that this can continue and they can win every single race.
I heard that Ted was on a quali map, and I thought, haha, funny joke, Phil. And then I realized Phil wasn't kidding. He actually did go to a quali map, and he's going to be right behind Mike really slaps Jones, but it won't end up being that way. Little photo finish there, almost very close indeed.
Send him into the wall. That was discussed beforehand in the chat there from Ted. Nicely done,
it's
James.
going
Well
to
done.
be third place for OVRC. Congrats to them. 9th place and 5th in class for the 714 Team Purple Lexus. Mike Jones bringing the car to the line. Had an accidental double stint and a stop and go 30, known as a slap and go 30 when it happens to Mike Jones. But they'll recover for 9th, 5th in class, 6th in class, and 10th overall for Team Green. The 797 had a uphill battle all day, but responded with a top 10. And of course, the win in GT4 for Flying Husky Racing. RCI's on Ryan Mawson driving that car to the flag. Congrats to them on what I assume is Flying Husky's first ever win in a major competition. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying. Mawson will correct me at some point, I'm sure, if I'm wrong. But here are the results confirmed for the Chris Hay 12 Hours of Spa. Wolf Matushka, Mikhail Sundstrom, Fabian Schmedberger confirmed the winners in the 799 Purple Bentley. And what a day it was. Started 12 hours ago. We couldn't have predicted from 5th place that they would get the start that they would get, only to find themselves in the night struggling for pace in comparison to the 29, only for the race to come back to them through consistency and safe driving. It will be another frustrating day for that 29, however, as they go forward 2 months until the next race. The next race in mid-September, and the finale a month later in October. What a crazy day. Well, here we are with the overall winners of the day: Mikhail Sundstrom, Wolf Matushka, and of course, Fabian Schmedberger. Congratulations, boys! 3 in a row. Are you kidding me?
It's pretty crazy. That was definitely not expected. Just we're so lucky. It's insane.
What were you thinking? Be honest. You're losing time to the 29. It's not a lot of time. It's just a little time per lap, and the gap keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's 40 to 50 seconds at one point. At any point, do you become reserved in finishing second, or do you keep pushing, knowing that, well, we've won races from this far behind before? Was any of that in your mind that this is still doable?
There was a slim chance. We had some strategy things we thought we might need to do to, or at least to try to sort of see if we could pull it back. But there would have been a slim chance, to be honest. It would have been luck involved in that working out as well. We just got super lucky and didn't have to really do that much.
Well, Fabs, you improved throughout the race, and in the end, you find yourself a winner again. Are you ever going to race with anybody other than Mikhail Sundstrom at this point? I don't see why you would. It's just absolute luck and strategy prevailing again. Mikhail's got to be your favorite co-driver, right?
I mean, yeah, we are already signed up for another championship, so yeah, pretty much. But yeah, we also couldn't have done that without Wolf because yeah, he was basically the fastest of us three. And I don't know if we could have put the Ferrari enough under pressure so that they get the track cut drive through. I don't think so. No, I think Wolf played an integral part in winning this race today.
Speaking of playing an integral part in the race, Wolf Matushka joining them for the longest race of the year and was immediately up to the task, up to pace, and was even giving tips, we were told, for the setup and for driving. And Wolf, just are you surprised at all for the win? You're in the car for one race and you're a winner.
Well, first of all, gotta celebrate a bit.
Ouch.
Unreal.
Now, it's amazing. I mean, first time in the car. I said it before. It's super tough to join a team that is on a win streak in an endurance championship, where it's Spa. It's the longest race. They've told me before that we need to perform well here because this is not going to be a drop round due to how the point system works. So, there was a lot on the stakes. But yeah, working with Fabian and Mikael was amazing. The practice worked out really well, although it was not a lot for me. The talks about the setup and the strategy really showed me immediately that this is going to be a good one, and the luck involved in the end obviously allowed us to win. You can't deny that. But yeah, no mistakes from our end. Set us pretty well up for the win, I guess.
Well, you got 2 months, guys, till the next race in September, and you know that 3 first places are not going to be your drop rounds. So inevitably, one of the last 2 races will likely end up being that. And you only really need to perform in one of the last 2 races. So do you have a favorite that you think that you will favor? How early do you start practicing for race number 4? What's the strategy going forward, knowing that you're in this position with 3 wins?
I think next round is Suzuka, right? And
Yes.
the experience from the World Tour means that we probably have some work to do to get comfortable there. Setup we used in the World Tour was not great. It's not very comfortable to drive. So that's going to be a tough one. I might favor Kyalami by a slight margin. It's gonna be tough. I mean, both of these, it's gonna be tough either way, right? It's both of the races are going to be hard fought. I bet.
Well, how early do you start practicing for either one of those, or have you already started having conversations about what you might do?
Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Well, there you have it. Champions never rest. A win today, conversations tomorrow for a race 2 months in the future. Folks, we'll be back with you for that race, but please join us this week. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Don't miss a single race. We've got racing action coming from you or for you live this week. I'd like to thank all of the folks that we've had in the booth today. More than I could possibly count. A big shout out to Stewie, Mike Jones, and Nick Setnick for carrying the broadcast load. Thank you especially to Cam DeBastos for spending the majority of his day and night with me, and also Ryan Gill for hanging out for an extended period of time, and everybody who spent time in the box. Tom Roberts was in here for a long period of time. Wolf Matushka actually came in here. He was just chatting with us midway through the race. We couldn't have believed what would have happened after the halfway point in this one. And a big thank you for all of you watching, and a huge thank you for all of our partners that make this broadcast and all broadcast here at RCI TV possible. Folks, on behalf of everybody here at RCI and RCI TV, we wish you a very pleasant rest of your weekend, and we will see you next time. Have a good night.